TV, we've seen an extraordinary motor race today. Looking down at the cars in Parc Ferme, 2 Red Bulls down there, and the victorious cars, and many of the men and women around who helped make those successes possible. And of course, on this day in history, the best 3 drivers in the world up here on the podium. We're going to start with you, Sebastian, your 27th victory. You now match Sir Jackie Stewart with that, but it looked pretty close out there on laps 43 and 44. Take us through that.
Yeah, obviously it was a very close wheel to wheel racing. I think there wasn't much room for either of us, so obviously it was a tight battle, but I think probably I was a little bit too keen too soon, because I obviously in terms of strategy was on the soft tyre towards the end, on the softer compound, and felt I had a little bit more, so yeah, obviously enjoyed the fight, had the upper hand in the end, but throughout the whole race I think it was very close. Mark was always a little bit ahead. I was stuck in traffic. Yeah, in the middle of the race I wasn't quite sure about the strategy, but towards the end it seemed to work very well, because we were able to save that extra set, and it gave us a little bit more speed.
Now obviously there's going to be some friction. We heard on your team radio, congratulations, but there's some explaining to do. I mean, how do you feel about the race itself in that respect?
I think obviously it's very hot today, and I think if there's something to say, we need to talk internally, but for sure I think we both enjoyed that. Of course, I'm standing in the middle now, so I enjoyed it probably a little bit more, but yeah, I think we have plenty of time to talk about.
Probably a good time for me to walk across and speak to Mark and see how he felt about it. You had a great race, Mark. The tyres worked well for you, the early part. You had a great start. It's not always your strongest shoot, but you're in good shape at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, the first part of the Grand Prix went very well for us. I think very tricky conditions for all of us on the intermediates to start with. And in the end, yeah, we got the right strategy. I think early in the race on the inters, getting this crossover quite nice. And then just really it was controlling the race and you know, getting everything in place really towards the back end of the race. Obviously I had to mark Lewis off a little bit in the middle there. And then after this last stop, obviously the team told me that the race was over, and we turned the engines down, and we go to the end. So I won a race as well, but in the end the team yeah, made a decision, which we always say before the start of the race is probably how it's going to be. We look after the tyres, get the car to the end, and in the end Seb made his own decisions today, and we'll have protection as usual, and that's the way it goes.
So you were surprised when he came past you?
The fight was on. So anyway, we know he's a quick peddler, but I was disappointed with the outcome of today's race, and in the end, team did a good job. I had some good fans here from Australia, so thanks guys. I did my best, and yeah, cheers.
Can you take any positives away from today?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of things which I did pretty well. So from my driving wide, like you say, the start, the inters, there's a lot of areas where you can get that wrong, obviously like Fernando, which is unusual for him. So in the end, the consistency, the pace, obviously you've got to drive very slow on these tyres. We're not pushing flat out as usual. All the leaders are driving very slow to save the tyres.
Okay, I'll move down to Lewis Hamilton, our 3rd place finisher. Clearly very popular man here today. Nicole down there looking on. Lewis, you similarly had a very tough fight with your teammate, but it seemed to be all about saving fuel for you towards the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. The team did a fantastic job. It was great to be up here for them. If I'm honest, I really feel that Nico should be standing here. We had generally he had a better pace than me throughout the race, but he's a great teammate and did a fantastic job today. On our side, I was fuel saving for a long time, so unable to keep the pace of the guys in front. But nonetheless, you know, we brought it home. The guys did a great job, and I'm proud to be up here for them.
Nico was certainly asking in very strong terms to be allowed to come past you at one point, but at that point Ross, I think, had called the race off, hadn't he?
Yeah. I can't say it's the best feeling being up here, but racing is racing, and I really just got to keep looking forward.
I've got to ask you about that pit stop. You fancied stopping at McLaren, old time sake, maybe?
Yeah, I just did a Jensen. He did that a couple of years ago. Yeah, I used to, for so many years, driving into the McLaren pit stop, and I don't know how I got it wrong, but big apology to my team.
I respect you're such competitive drivers and such competitive athletes. You're all sort of kind of happy, unhappy up here today. It's been that kind of race, but at the end of the day, Sebastian looking pretty good. at this stage again for the championship. Not obviously in the long term, but for your championship position at least, it's been a great day.
Yeah, I think in that regard it's obviously a long race, so it's good at this stage of the year to score points, and we go from there. But thinking about the championship right now, I think it's way too early. So I think it was a great race for the team today. I think we did better on the tyres than we expected. Obviously it dried pretty quickly, but we had a pretty clean race in terms of tyres after that.
Okay. Our next race remains in Asia for the Chinese Grand Prix. You have to see that race, especially after today's performances. Thank you.